A pleasant day, everyone. We are the Group 3 presenters and we will be discussing the introduction of folk dance. I am Jeremy Junco, together with Justin Pacuetes, Raquel Bernabe, Paulo Garque, Riley Gotana, Shaira Lugana, Christian Manuel, Patrick Nasinova, Anthony Royon, and Ryan Tumarumpong will present our report for P3 Pat Beat Dance. So what is folk dance? Traditional dances that have developed as a part of the cultural practices and legacy of a particular group of people or area are referred to as folk dances. These dances are usually performed at festivals, celebrations, and community events. They are frequently handed down through the generations. Folk dances frequently have movements, music, and costumes that are specific to the culture, and they serve as a reflection of the people's history, way of life, and beliefs. In the Philippines, the history of folk dances incorporate influences from immigrants and conquerors, and at the same time, maintaining distinctly Filipino roots. Philippine folk dancing is a true reflection of daily life in the past centuries, while enchanting modern audiences at the same time. The Philippine folk dances have evolved in so many areas of the Philippines, and it became the identity of the many tribes of the country. It reflects the cultural diversity and heritage of the various regions. These dances are often performed during festivals, rituals, and social gatherings, and they carry the influences of indigenous customs, Spanish colonization, and other historical events. They are a celebration of daily life, health, peace, war, harvest times, and other aspects of life. According to the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, Philippine folk dances imitate nature and life because they are rituals for social and spiritual expression. For the types of folk dance, we have national, regional, and character. First, we have national. National is the traditional dances of a given country. National folk dances are traditional dances that are recognized across an entire country and are representative of the national identity or culture. These dances often embody the shared values, history, and culture of the country as a whole. They are typically taught in schools and performed at national events or celebrations, symbolizing national pride. Example of this is the tinikling here in the Philippines. Tinikling is considered a national folk dance because it is recognized and practiced throughout the country as an important cultural dance. The second one is the regional or local. Regional folk dances are specific to a particular area, province, or region within a country, reflecting the unique customs and traditions of that locality. These dances may vary greatly from region to region, influenced by local history, geography, and indigenous practices. They are often performed during local festivals or celebrations that are unique to a specific area. The Singkil from Maranao region in Mindanao or Maglalatik from Laguna are considered regional folk dances in the Philippines as they reflect the culture and history of particular regions. The last one is the character, or it is created by individual or group. Character folk dances are typically choreographed dances created by an individual or a group to represent a particular theme, character, or story. These dances may include dramatization and represent particular characters, animals, or events. Character dances often use exaggerated movements and props to convey a story or idea, and they may not necessarily have roots in traditional culture but are inspired by them. One of the examples of this is the itik-itik from the Visayan region, where dancers mimic the movements of ducks. It's an example of a character dance as the dancers adapt the character of the animal. Each type of folk dance serves a different purpose in preserving and showcasing cultural heritage, from national identity to regional original traditions, and individual expressions of creativity or storytelling.
The objective of teaching Philippine folk dance are essential is promoting culture awareness and physical well-being. So here's the key point. The first one is foster patriotism and nationalism. Encourage love for the country and nation pride through the study of traditional dances. Next is appreciation of Philippine music and dance. To enhance understanding and appreciation of the rich culture heritage of the Philippines by studying its music and folk dance. Then, next is relaxation and creation. Provide a health and enjoyable form of physical activities that also serve as means of relaxation and entertainment. Next is improve physical coordination and posture. This one is develop graceful rhythm mixed body movements that help improve posture and physical coordination. Then next is preserve folk dance and music. This one is to ensure the prevention of traditional dances and music from the various regions, safeguarding the culture heritage for the future generation. The last is showcase the evaluation of the Filipino culture to demonstrate the development and transformation of the Filipino culture by highlighting the changes in the Philippine dance over time. So, this objective collectively contribute to the preservation and propagation of Philippine culture while promoting physical fitness and social interaction.
Good day everyone, my name is Christian J. Manuel and I'm here to represent the characteristics of Philippine folk dances. So in general, dancers do stand apart to each other. This is mainly because that Philippine folk dances stand apart from each other due to the country's diverse cultural influences and regional variations. There is little, if any, bodily contact towards each other. This is due to the conservative culture of the Filipino culture. The traditional Filipino culture, particularly influenced by the Spanish colonization and Catholicism, emphasized modesty and conservatism, and dancing with minimal bodily contact, especially between men and women, was a way of showing respect and propriety about to each other. And also they respect their personal space. These things are rare especially between male and female dancers. This reflects the cultural norms where physical interaction was kept formal, with partners maintaining a respectful distance. For example, in dances like the Cariñosa, the dancers use a fan or a handkerchief to interact while avoiding direct contact. They emphasize on the hand movements in between dances because due to expressiveness, symbolism, and also the cultural aesthetics of it. The hand movements play a significant role in many Philippine folk dances because they are used to convey emotion, stories, and symbols. This symbolizes certain actions like planting rice, playing with nature, or courtship. In dances like pandango, sa ilaw, dancers balance lamps with their hands, showcasing grace and skill. Most dances are in long formation. Dances in the this characteristic of the Philippine folk dance most likely refer to like the parades that we have, especially when there is a fiesta or like for example, panagbenga, they line up in a long formation, dancing in between the streets. Most dances begin and end with saludo. Saludo is a form of respect towards the people that is watching your performance. So most likely they will show them their respect in the beginning and ends with the respect. And dances from the lowlands have more foreign elements than those found in the uplands. This explains why there is a lot of cultural influence, especially in the lower regions. The regional differences is between each region in the Philippines. It has developed its own unique dance and styles, influenced by local tradition, environment, and ethnic groups. For example, dances from the Northern Cordillera region are different from the dances of the Muslim communities in Mindanao. Their foreign influence, because there is some folk dances that shows influence from Spanish, Chinese, and other cultures due to centuries of trade, colonization, and interaction. These influences shape the dances uniquely in each region. And lastly, war dances are found among non-Christian tribes. War dances are found among the non-Christian tribes because the Christianity that we had in the Philippines in between the Spanish colonization period was mainly because we Filipinos defend ourselves to the colonizers, and this is our way of survival before the Spanish colonization. And the Christianity that is brought to us by the Spanish mainly focuses on peace and respect towards each other, and like it is in modern times, it is what we call the peaceful treaties and talks in between the leaders. But it is not the same with the locals or the native Filipinos that lived in the Philippines even before the Spanish colonized us and brought their religion to us. So war dances are found among non-Christian tribes because they have different values, rituals, and also their rules that they have in their tribe.
Geographical extent of origin. Number 1. National dances. These are traditional dances that celebrate local culture and have been developed by communities throughout Europe and other regions. Not all nations officially recognize a national dance or dances. National dances may be formal or informal designations and are found throughout the islands. Some examples of national dances are Rigodon from Spain, Cariñosa, La Jota Manileña, Balitao, and Pandango. Local dances, often referred to as folk dances. These are traditional dances that reflects the cultural heritage and history of a specific region or community. These dances are usually passed down through generations and are performed during festivals, celebrations, and other significant events. Some examples of local dances are Tinikling from Leyte, Maglalatik from Biñan, Esperanza from Nabua, Subli from Batangas, and Binigan Bigat from Abra.
Good day everyone, my name is Paulo Garque and I'm going to explain the nature of Philippine dances. Philippine dances are often tied to specific aspect of life, culture, and tradition. They reflect the daily activities, beliefs, and ritual of the Filipino people. These dances are typically classified based on their purpose, whether it's for work, religious, activities, entertainment, or special events. So first one, occupational dances. These are dances that show how people work or do their jobs. For example, planting seeds or harvesting crops. Number 2, religious or ceremonial dances. These dances are part of religious rituals or ceremonies. They are performed to honor deities or celebrate special occasions in religion. Number 3, comic dances. These dances are meant to be funny and make people laugh. They usually include silly or playful movements. Number 4, game dances. These dances involve games or playful activities. They are often used as part of social events and are meant to be fun. Number 5, wedding dances. These dances are performed at weddings to celebrate the marriage of a couple. Number 6, courtship dances. These dances shows how people express love or court someone. They tell a story of a romance. Number 7, festival dances. These dances are performed during festivals or special events. They are meant to celebrate and entertain people at the gatherings. And lastly, war dances. These dances mimic battles or fights. They are performed to show bravery or to honor warriors. Philippine dances is generally classified by their nature based on their purpose or what they represent, such as work, religion, entertainment, courtship, or celebration. So each type has a specific role in the cultural and social life of the Filipino people, expressing their emotions, traditions, and values through movement and storytelling. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Shaira Jit S. Lugana and I am the next reporter. After the nature, we have movement. Movement in dance is the execution of fluid physical action by dancers, often in a choreographic pattern or following a musical rhythm, for the express purpose of expressing emotions, telling a story, or conveying a message to an audience. It can involve a wide range of movement, from the simplest gestures to the more intricate and difficult techniques such as pirouettes, leaps, turns, jumps, and lift. Each form of movement in dance carries unique characteristics that identify and define a particular style or tradition, making movement in dance a fundamental element of a dance expression. In movement, we have active with fast energetic movement. This can include various dance styles such as contemporary dance, hip-hop, jazz, or even traditional dance forms like ballet, where the dancers' movements are dynamic and expressive, involving complex combination of steps, jumps, and turns. Active movement in dance is often characterized by a focus on the use of the body to create fluid transitions, complex choreography, and emphasize various emotions and themes within the dance. Next is movement moderate. When describing movement in the context of dance, moderate movements would refer to movements that are neither too slow nor too fast. These movements can be interpreted as having a middle pace, allowing for a good balance between control and flow. Moderate movement still require energy and precision, but they are more measured and deliberate compared to fast or slow movements. In many forms of dance, moderate movements can be key to portraying a variety of emotions and moods. And they can also serve as a foundation for more complex movement and combinations. The next one is slow. Slow movement in dance typically entails a pace that is more measured, controlled, and graceful. Dancers might utilize slow movement to emphasize the subtlety of certain movements, create a sense of stillness, or draw attention to the fluidity of the performance. Slow movements in the dance often involve delicate and precise body control, where the dancer uses minimal effort to create a sense of peace and tranquility. They can also involve a deliberate and thoughtful use of body expression, such as holding poses or maintaining extended positions to convey the emotion or theme of the dance. And slow movements can also serve as a contrast to faster movement, creating a dynamic and varied performance. The next one is slow and fast movement. Slow and fast movement in dance are two contrasting speed levels that can be used in a variety of ways to create different effects. Slow movement typically involves deliberate and controlled gestures at a moderate pace, emphasizing grace and expressiveness. Fast movement, on the other hand, is involved more rapid motion and can be used to create energy, excitement, and intensity. Dancers may switch between slow and fast movement to create contrast, tell a story, or create emotional impact. The choice between slow and fast movement in a dance routine will depend on the style of dance and the desired effect. Next is formation. A formation refers to the configuration of dancers on the performance surface. In relation to each other and to the audience, it can involve different patterns, shapes, and spatial relationships that are carefully crafted to create visual and aesthetic effect, and highlight a specific dance element or tell a story through movement. Formation can change throughout a dance piece and are an essential part of dance choreography. They play a significant role in creating rhythm, harmony, and dynamic energy in a dance performance. Square or quadrille. Square or quadrille formation in dance refers to a group of dancers arranged in a square or rectangular pattern, with each other facing the center of the square. This formation is commonly used in social dance, forms such as square dancing, quadrilles, and other traditional folk dances. The dancers are arranged in couples, typically male and female, facing their patterns diagonally across from each other. The square or quadrille formation allows for intricate and synchronized footwork and movement, creating a visually captivating and engaging performance. The next is long formation with two or more parallel lines. A long formation with two or more parallel lines in dance involves dancers being arranged into two or more parallel rows, then facing the audience or facing each other, depending on the specific choreography and context. This formation can be used in various dance genres such as ballet, contemporary, modern, and line dancing, among others. The long formation can be used to create a grand, expansive, and visually striking movement, highlighting the cohesion and precision of the dancer as they move in unison. The use of this formation can create a sense of unity and symmetry, as well as providing a platform for intricate choreography and dynamic transition. Last one is set. Set consisting of two or more pairs as a unit, patterns facing each other or standing side by side. A set of formation in dance involve arranging dancer is an organized pattern often forming a geometric shape or pattern such as a square, circle, or triangle. The dancer are typically arranged in a structured manner with each dancer occupying a fixed position with the set formation. This formation can be used to create visual harmony, symmetry, and cohesion in the dance and serve as a framework for the movement and choreography within the set. Different formation can be used throughout a dance piece to create variety and interest, and can also be used to tell a story or express emotion through movement. That's all. Thank you po.
Special classification group dances having special distinctive features. The number one is dances with songs. Dances with song is a broad term that can have different interpretations depending on the context. Here are some possible meanings. Dances accompanied by music. This is the most common interpretation. It simply refers to any dance that is performed to music, whether it's a specific song, musical genre, or instrumental music. In this sense, almost all dances fall under this definition, from ballroom dances to folk dances to contemporary dances. The example of this is Aburalay, Manang Biday, Lilay, Virginia, Luis, Kawayan, etc. The second one is old ballroom dances. Ballroom dancing has a rich history evolving from court dances to social gatherings and eventually becoming a competitive sport. This response will explore some of all ballroom dances, those that were popular in the 19th and early 20th centuries, and how they shaped the ballroom dancing we know today. The example of this is polka, mazurka, shotis, waltz, etc. The third one is dances with implements. Dances with implements, also known as dances with props, are a fascinating aspect of dance history and performance. These dances utilize objects to enhance the choreography, storytelling, and overall visual impact. An example of this is maglalatig, sakuting, shota, mukandana, tinikling, salakot. The fourth one or the last one is the dances of combined rhythm. The term of dances of combined rhythm is a broad concept that can encompass various dance styles and techniques. While research results don't provide a definitive list of dance specifically labeled as combined rhythm. The example of this is Ritido, Pantomina, Las Piles de Oyer. The term special classification group dances encompasses a diverse range of dance styles and programs. Understanding the various classifications help us appreciate the richness and complexity of the dance world and recognize the unique characteristic of each style, whether it's the athleticism of breaking, the expressiveness of Latin dances, or the inclusivity of special population dance. Each classification offers a unique perspective on the art and practice of dance. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Raquel Bernabe from Group 3. Now let's talk about what do's in performing folk dance. First, dance in a natural, simple, and direct manner. Folk dances are rooted in tradition and simplicity. This means movement should flow naturally without exaggerated actions. Your body should move in a way that feels comfortable and reflects the culture the dance comes from. Avoid overdoing movements or adding unnecessary embellishments. Next, dance with ease and smoothness. The transitions between movements should feel seamless and relaxed rather than rigid or jerky. Focus on graceful, fluid motions that reflect the ease with which these dances were originally performed. This keeps the dance looking polished and connected from start to finish. The third one, use the proper costumes for the dance. Costumes are an important part of folk dances because they reflect the culture, tradition, and sometimes the story behind the dance. Wearing the appropriate attire helps convey authenticity and respect for the tradition you're representing. Each dance may have specific garments that fit its cultural background, so it's important to wear these correctly. The fourth one, follow direction and dance instruction as closely as possible. Folk dances often have specific steps, patterns, and formation that are passed down through generation. To keep the dance authentic, it's important to adhere to this instruction. This ensures that the dance stays true to its origin and preserve its traditional value. The last one, dance with feeling and expression. Beyond just performing the steps, it's important to convey the emotion and spirit of the dance, whether it's joy, celebration, or reverence. Express these feelings through your movements and facial expressions. This brings the dance to life and helps communicate its cultural meaning to the audience.
Good day everyone, my name is Anthony Arroyo and I will discuss the 5 don'ts in performing in folk dance. Number 1. Do not exaggerate the dance steps. In folk dance, the emphasis is often on preserving tradition, cultural authenticity, and community connection. Exaggerating movements or styles might distort the original meaning, symbolism, or purpose of the dance. Folk dances uses reflect the daily lives, rituals, or celebrations of a particular community, and exaggerating these movements could dilute their cultural significance. Exaggeration might also make the dance less inclusive, as these dances are often meant to be accessible for everyone in the community, not just trained performers. Number 2. Do not make the dances too dainty and graceful like ballet. Folk dances are grounded in the cultural and social traditions of specific communities, and they often reflect the everyday lives, rituals, and emotions of the people who perform them. Unlike ballet, which emphasize elegance, precision, and refined technique, folk dances are generally more robust, energetic, and earthly, aligning with the practical, communal, or ceremonial purposes for which they were created. Number 3. Don't make entrance and exit long. In folk dance, the focus is usually on communal participation, storytelling, and the natural flow of movement rather than theatrical presentation. Long entrances and exits can detract from the spontaneous and lively nature of these dances. Folk dances are often performed in informal settings such as festival or community gatherings where the emphasis is on active participation and celebration rather than a stage extended performance. Number 4. Don't make steps too elaborate and complicated. Folk dances typically prioritize accessibility, community involvement, and cultural expression over technical complexity. The steps are often kept simple to ensure that everyone, regardless of age or skill level, can participate. In many cultures, folk dances are passed down through generation and performed by people of all ages and background during celebrations, rituals, or social gatherings. If the steps were too elaborate or complicated, it would make it harder for the average person to engage and enjoy the experience. Number 5. Don't call a dance a folk dance unless steps come from traditional dances. A dance is typically not called a folk dance unless its step originates from traditional dances, because folk dance is deeply rooted in the customs, values, and history of a particular culture or community. The defining characteristic of folk dance is its connection to the tradition of a specific group of people, often passed down through generations. These dances are a reflection of a cultural identity, local customs, rituals, and shared experiences. If the steps don't come from traditional dances, then the dance loses its authenticity and cultural significance. It becomes something new or different rather than a continuation of the heritage it is meaning to represent.
The term folk dance is sometimes applied to dances of historical importance in European culture and history, typically originating before the 20th century. For other cultures, the term ethnic dance or traditional dance are sometimes used, although the latter terms may encompass ceremonial dances.